Hello, welcome back. Previously, we have seen how to use the class, and we have also looked at static member variables as well as static methods. In this video, we'll be looking at interfaces and enum type. Now, recall that we've looked at interfaces before, but it was in relation to lambda expression. So, because we had to make use of interface when declaring lambda expression, we had to create a functional interface. And as you can recall, a functional interface contains just a single method, the signature for a single method. Take the greeting interface for instance, just contain just a signature, and this method right here is known as an abstract method. The reason it's being called an abstract method is because it does not have its own implementation. The implementation is to be provided by any class that declares a variable of this particular type of interface. So when I move over to my main.java class and I want to use the greeting interface, and I say greeting equals to, recall we did something like this, we said new greeting, then we had to provide an implementation for the greeting, for the greet method that is inside of our greeting interface. So that is how the functional interface works. But in this scenario, I don't want to make the greeting interface a functional interface anymore, because we are not making use of lambda expression in this section. So I'll remove the functional interface. As you can see, this interface is no longer a functional interface, though it can still be used for a functional interface since I still have one method. However, when I declare another method that says string greet, this one takes in the parameter of user of type string, which is the username. So as you can see, we now have two different methods inside of our greeting interface. So this another type of interface. The other one was just functional interface. They are still the same, but just that the other interface can be used to declare lambda expression. However, this interface cannot be used to declare a lambda expression. The reason is because it has more than a single method. It has more than one method. Now, when I move over to my main.java, I have a greeting variable declared here already. Now it's popping up an error. The reason is because this greeting interface now has two methods, and the greeting variable I'm trying to construct right here just has a single method that is being defined inside of it. So when I click on this part right here where we have the red line drawn, you see I'm going to click on this red icon and it will say implement methods. So when I click on implement method, it pops up this stuff, and I have to implement the second method I have defined, the second abstract method I just defined in the greeting interface. So I click OK. As you can see, we have the boot of the method right here. So this is what I'm going to do. At the first stage, I'm going to say hello. I'm going to return hello user, and then right here I'm going to return hello plus username. So I'm going to end with a semicolon, because this is a variable declaration or statement. The whole of this is a variable declaration statement. Now, to use the greeting interface, we have two methods defined inside of the interface already. We can say string, since the methods, both of them returns a value of type string. We can say string greet user equals to, can call greeting dot greet, and then we can print greet user to the console. And we can also say greet user equals to greeting dot greet. But this time around, we are going to pass in a value, a string value. and I'll just say Isaac and semicolon. Then I'll run the program. Okay, I'm coming. I have to remove this and stuff. Move over to, why do I have this error? Okay, I'm going to remove the whole of this stuff. I'll run my main.java class again. And as you can see, we have hello user printed out on our console. Now I failed to include the print statement of greet user the second time, so I'll copy and I'll paste it right here. And this time around it's going to print hello user, and thereafter it will print hello Isaac. So we have hello user and we also have hello Isaac. So the interface is used to declare abstract methods. So the method that have been declared inside of greeting are known as abstract method. We have the greet and the other greet method that takes in a parameter of type string. So these methods are known as abstract method. So when we are now declaring a variable of this interface, we have to implement the method. So that's why when we define the greeting, automatically IntelliJ pops up a kind of block that we then use to override those methods, those abstract methods in the greeting interface, and then we provide our own implementation. However, there is something else we need to know. In Java 8, Java introduced something to the interface. Before Java 8, prior to Java 8, the interface was only able to define abstract method, but then after the release of Java 8, they included the function such that the interface will be able to define a single default method. So to define the default method, we say default, just say void greet, and let me say greet user. This time around I'll provide an implementation. Okay, I can't, let me see. Okay, I can't use that one, so I'll say greet users. I have to say hello user, welcome to my channel. I'll change this to viewer. As you all, hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. So I'll move over to my main.java, and because I have a default method that says greet users, I can come over here and I'll remove the whole of this stuff, and I can just call greeting.greet users, and I'll run the program. Note, after I defined the default method right over there, I didn't have any error because it's a default method. I provided implementation for that method inside of my greeting interface, so I don't really need to define another implementation for that default method inside of the greeting declaration statement. That's this greeting declaration statement. The whole of this block defines the abstract method greet, and also the other abstract method that also is greet but takes in a string variable as parameter. So I don't really have to provide another implementation for the greet users method because I have already provided the default implementation. However, just like with the greet and greet, we can also override the greet user method by saying at override public void grid users, and then I'll say should print out hello and just welcome. So now when I run the program again, you see we just have hello welcome. The reason is because now greeting, which is a variable of type greeting, this greeting is a variable of type greeting, has now defined its own implementation for the default greet users method. So that defining its own implementation now makes it has its own definition for the method. So that is basically overriding. We'll look into overriding in more details when we also get into object, but what you are just seeing right here is known as overriding. We've come across it now, but I'll still be going in more details into overriding in the future when we get to object. So that is it for the interface. You can recall the functional interface just takes a single, just define the signature for a single method, while the normal interface can define multiple abstract methods and can also have a single default method. So you cannot have a single default method in an interface, and this is due to is an update or an addition when the Java 8 JDK was released. So it came alongside with the Java JDK 8, and from then henceforth it has been the rest JDK that has been coming out. Now we are going to look at enum type. Recall that we have we can declare variables of different type, including classes, as you can see, and even interface. We've declared a variable of type interface, and this variable itself is an object, but we'll get into objects in more details, not now. But this variable, just take it from me that this variable, this greeting variable right here, is an object. Now we'll be looking at enum type. We have string, we have int, we have double and other primitive type, and so on and so forth. However, there might be cases where none of this value meets our demand. We don't have we have something in mind, and none of this data types is providing a scenario where we can declare such. Let me take for example the day of the week. So we have different days of the week. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on and so forth. And we want to define our program, but this time around we want to make it somewhat static, and we don't want to use a string variable to hold the values of the day. So what we are going to do, we have something known as enum in Java. Is a short for enumerated type. So this type, we give it a name ourselves, and then we define the values for the type. So this is how to define an enum. First, you can define your enum outside of the class, doesn't matter, or I'll just define it at first, and I'll show you the second way to define an enum. So we can say enum day, then we include our curly braces, then is convention that the value of the enum are all upper cases, just to let other developers know that this value is an enum type. So we have Monday. In fact, we'll start from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as you can see, we've declared our enum type. Now we can create a variable of this enum. The name of the enum is day, so we can say the second day of the week equals to, then we say day dot Monday. As you can see, we have day dot Monday as the second day of the week, right? When we look from here, we have the first day, which is Sunday, and the second day, which is Monday. I just give it a variable name that is somewhat significant to the second day of the week. So you can also create a variable and you can give it any name. You can even just give it day of the week, or you can give it third day of the week, depending on the name of the variable you choose. Does not really matter. So I decided to just say second day of the week and say day dot Monday. Now, when you are calling the values, you have to include the name of the enum type. Then you use the period dot the value you want to assign to it. So these are the possible values for a variable of type day. In this case, we have a variable, we have an enum of type day, and we are declaring the variable of this day, and these are the possible values we can assign to that variable. And to assign the value, we have to include the name of the enum, and then we have to use a period, that's dot, followed by the value that has been defined initially when we define the enum type. So that's one way of defining an enum type. You can see we define this enum type outside of the class. We can also go as far as creating an enum from just like the way we created an interface. So we say alternate inter, and right here we click on Java class, and you can see we have option for enum. So we click on enum, and I'm going to call this enum season. Press enter. So we have enum season. It has the public modifier. So season, we have spring, we separate by comma. We have fall, we have summer, and we also have winter. So that's it. We've just define a public name season. To use these values, we can go over to our Java class, our main.java. Then we say season, and we can say current season as the name of the variable equals to, then we say season dot fall or season dot winter, depending on the current season. Now, the enum type is associated with what is known as an ordinal number. That ordinal number indicates the index that the particular value is located. For instance, we can see that our value Monday is at index 2, is at number 2, is at position 2. So therefore, remember we are starting our numbering from 0. So we say 0 and 1. So the ordinal number for Monday will be 1. And if I try to print it out, which is second day of the week, second day of the week is pointing to Monday, we can say second day of the week dot ordinal. Then when I print this out, it's going to print out the value of 1 on our console. You can see immediately after printing out hello welcome, we have the value of 1 printed out in our console. Now in the case of season.fall, I want to also print out the ordinal number of fall. So I'll look at the season enum definition, and you can see we have our numbering starting from 0 again. We also have 1. So I'm printing out the ordinal number of fall. So I will do the same thing I did earlier. So we have current season dot ordinal. Then when I run the program again, we are going to have 1 printed out because the ordinal number for the value of the enum Monday is 1, and so it is for fall. So if I change this word to summer, let's see what is going to print out. Now I'll run again, probably 2, I guess so. Okay, yes, we have to. So it means that the position is the third in the Enum season. Now let's take a look at it. So we have zero, so we have one, two, three. But when we are starting our numbering, we are starting from 0, 1, 2. So summer is at the second index. So that is everything on Enum. So you can go ahead and declare a variable that suits you and provide the specific value, and therefore you can go ahead and define an enum that suits you and provide a specific value. Even if it has not been provided by Java, then you can use the enum type declaration to assign a variable, and use the variable to equate to those values. So if I try to give day a value that is not defined inside of the enum at first, and say day, call it not defined, equals to d dot another, you can see I have an error. The reason for this error is because it cannot resolve another. Another is not defined inside of my enum declaration. So when I include another this time around, you see that the error is gone. So there's no day like another, so I'll remove that whole statement. Just wanted to make it clear so you understand in more detail. So that's it on interfaces and enum. I bet these are two different concept interface, and we also have but I just wanted to combine them in this video and make it known to you. So thanks for watching. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so. Just support the channel, give me a thumbs up, turn on the notification bell, and peace out. I'll catch you in the next one.